All right, today we're going to visit just one building, but this single building tells a story that's 1,000 years long. We're talking about St. Pölten Cathedral in Austria. Now, this place is an absolute architectural marvel. It's been a fortress, a church, a cultural hub, you name it. So let's dive in and see what makes it so incredibly special. So, I want to start with just one number. Over 100,000. What is that? Well, that's how many people are drawn to this cathedral every single year. Kind of makes you wonder, right? What's the secret? What is it about this one spot in Austria that pulls in such a huge crowd? Well, that's exactly what we're here to find out. Okay, so our virtual tour starts right in the heart of St. Pölten, Austria. But look, this cathedral, it's so much more than just a landmark on a map. For centuries, this was the absolute cultural and spiritual center of the city. We're talking about a place where history didn't just happen around it, history was made right here. And that's a really important thing to get. You know, for hundreds and hundreds of years, this wasn't just a place people went on Sundays. No way. It was the town square, the meeting hall, the community center, all rolled into one. Think about it. Markets, important meetings, all the big life events, everything happened here. It was literally the beating heart of St. Pölten. All right, this is where things get really cool. To actually understand this cathedral, we've got to become time travelers for a minute. See, this building wasn't just built once and then left alone. It's more like a living document, a storybook made of stone, with new chapters, new layers, added over centuries of change. You can basically break down its life story into three big acts. First, way back in medieval times, it started out as, get this, a fortified Roman church. A church that was also a fort. Then, boom, the 12th century hits, and it gets this huge, soaring Gothic makeover. And finally, way later, it gets a massive dose of Baroque drama. Three totally different eras, all layered into one incredible structure. So what happens when you have all these different construction periods? You get this incredible blend of styles. It's a total architectural mashup. You can actually see the layers of history, one on top of the other. So let's break down what that really looks like. Okay, let's start at the bottom with the oldest layer, the building's DNA, if you will. That's Romanesque. And if you have to remember one thing about Romanesque, it's strength, security. We're talking thick, heavy, imposing walls and these classic, simple, rounded arches. You can still feel that fortress vibe deep in its bones. Now, on top of that super solid foundation, the next layer comes along and just completely changes the game. The 12th century brings in Gothic architecture, and suddenly, everything's different. The goal isn't strength anymore, it's all about height and light. This is where you get those iconic pointed arches and those intricate ribbed vaults, all designed to make you look up, to draw your eyes, and maybe your spirit, towards the heavens. And then, the final layer, the Baroque period. And oh man, this style was all about drama. Emotion, decoration. Think over the top. They added these huge sweeping arches, incredibly detailed carvings, and just tons of ornate decorations everywhere. It gives the whole place this feeling of splendor, almost like a theater. So, we've spent a lot of time on the outside, which is amazing, but that's really only half the story. Come on, let's step inside, because these walls are guarding an absolutely breathtaking collection of art and history. The real treasures are within. The second you walk in, bam, there are three things that are just going to grab your attention right away. First, you've got the soaring South Tower. Then there's the beautiful North Transept. That's where you'll find a chapel from the 14th century. And of course, you can't miss the magnificent main altar. And just to give you some perspective on that South Tower, it's not just tall for a church. It is one of the tallest towers in all of Austria. It completely dominates the city skyline. It's just a mind-blowing testament to how ambitious those medieval builders really were. But it's not just about the building itself. The cathedral is basically a giant treasure chest. I mean, it's packed with priceless collections of rare books, ancient relics that are like a physical connection to the past, and just stunning art and sculptures from so many different eras. Okay, and get this. Among all those treasures, actual, real-deal relics from the Roman Empire. This is insane. It connects the site all the way back to its very beginning as a Roman fort. You are literally looking at pieces of ancient history. And it's not just about what you can see. It's also about what you can hear. Because the cathedral has this magnificent organ. It was built back in the 18th century, and trust me, it's not just an instrument, it's a masterpiece of craftsmanship. It looks incredible, and it sounds even better. And maybe, just maybe, one of the most beautiful treasures in the whole place is this one stained glass window. Why? Because it dates all the way back to the 12th century. Just stop and think about that for a second. This single piece of art has been catching the sunlight for over 800 years. It's just breathtaking. Okay, so we've spent a lot of time in the past, right? But what about today? What's going on now? Well, this is the really important part. St. Pölten Cathedral is not some dusty old museum. Nope, it's a vibrant, living, breathing space that is still right at the center of city life. Right now, today, the cathedral is a legit cultural hub. All year round, those ancient halls are filled with music from concerts, the buzz and energy from festivals, and people quietly enjoying all kinds of special exhibitions. It's still doing what it has always done, bringing people together. Now, of course, a building this old needs a lot of TLC. It's been through several massive restoration projects over the years. But here's the thing, it's not just about patching up the past. It's really an investment in the future. Every single project is about making sure this incredible place will be around for generations to come. So all of this kind of brings us to one last big thought. The story of this cathedral, from a Roman fort to a Gothic spire to a modern concert hall, it's pretty incredible. And it leaves you with this really fascinating question. In our crazy, fast-moving world, how do we make sure that ancient places like this don't just survive, but that they actually thrive? It's an amazing story of adaptation, and definitely something to think about.